Hi folks, Tim Newman with Lite Studios, and I'd like to introduce you to a new thing that we have been spending some time working on. I think we finally got it ready for prime time. It's a feature that we are calling a shot a day. This is really going to kind of be our experimental test run today, but I think we got it dialed in. And what we're going to do in this series is bring you one image every day and some notes about how that image was captured. The image that you're looking at right now was shot in Vermilion Cliffs National Monument in an area known as White Pockets, an incredible geological formation, really a photographer's dream. So what we're going to do in this Shot a Day series is we're going to start off talking about the exposure settings that were used to get this picture. And you can see here that we shot this frame at ISO 50, low ISO, minimal sensor noise, best quality image, a shutter speed of 1/125th of a second, and an aperture of f/22. That aperture is pretty small by my standards, but I really wanted that maximum depth of field, and I wanted the sun to star out in the picture, and you got to have an f/16 or an f/22 to get that. Last but not least, you can see our exposure compensation here was 0. The camera read the scene right, and we went with that meter reading. It worked out great. Speaking of camera, let's take a look at the camera that was used here. A Canon 5D Mark IV was the body that we used with a battery grip attached to it. We had a Canon EF 1635 f/2.8 IL USM3 lens as our optics. And on the front of that, we had a Nitze polarizer. Now that Nitze polarizer was actually in Nitze's Nikon 14-24 adapter from their S5 series, but it had an 82mm inset ring in that adapter, which allows that filter set to be used on a lot of different lenses. One of the things that I really like about the Nitze S5 set is that ability to put on a lot of different lenses. A really right stuff L bracket around the camera body and the battery grip, paired up with a really right stuff Series 3 tripod. Big fan of Really Right Stuff. I really like the stabilization and the efficiency that it gives me out in the field. Last but not least, even though it technically might not have been necessary, a Canon TC83 intervalometer was used here. We always use the intervalometer when you can because it takes that vibration and moves it away from the camera. Okay, let's take a look at some composition notes here. I'm just going to have them up real quickly here so you can look through them real fast, and then we will talk through them out of the way so that you can actually see the picture as I'm talking about it. One of the things that I think we see here is leading lines coming in really from all 4 edges of the picture, but certainly from the 3 rock edges of the picture. Really nice lines pulling us into the center of that picture, really almost kind of an S curve to follow through here to that tree in the middle, and then as we follow it all the way out to the back, we get that sun starred out in the background. I think in terms of rules of composition, you got a pretty nice division of thirds here in 2 ways. Both vertically, you got rock formations on the left and right, and that kind of slot in the center, and even horizontally, though it's pretty subtle, you can see that there's a nice division between sky, kind of the rock formation working its way through the center, and then the rock formations in the foreground there. And I think when we saw this image, it was really important to think about those elements of design and those rules of composition. Plus, we really should spend some time here thinking about the geometric balance here. As photographers, sometimes we tend to really quickly jump to, let's put the horizon line in the middle, half sky, half ground. In this case, we resisted the temptation to do that. The sky was important, yes, and the starred sun was certainly a good anchor up there in that upper right corner. But those rock formations in the foreground are really telling the story. They're really what's driving you through the middle of the scene and out to the back. So again, avoid that temptation to go with that middle line for sky versus horizon line. So there you have it, our very first shot of the day. We're glad to have finally brought this to you. We should have one of these coming at you every single day. Hope you'll tune in, subscribe, and follow along. You might find that there's some good tips in there that'll help you with exposure, gear, and composition thoughts when you're out in the field. We'll see you out there soon. Remember, as we always say, learning equals skills, practice equals mastery. We'll catch you out there.